The FDIC, the thing that protects your money if a bank fails, can now be on the chopping block. But that's not the entire story, at least not yet. But what does that mean for consumers? What does that mean for investors? Most importantly, what does that mean for your money right now? Should we start to withdraw some money, put it under a mattress? What in the world is exactly going on? Let's go ahead and break it down. Like I tell y'all all the time, yes, I do read the comments. And thanks to y'all, you put this on my radar. I'm only one person. Y'all don't see nobody else here, okay? And I do follow as much news as possible, as sanely possible. I can't, look, it's a lot going on. I'd be stressed, okay? But yes, thank you. I saw the comment once from one person. I'm like, I don't really see nothing. I saw it twice. I'm like, all right, it might be something to this. And yeah, it is something happening with the FDIC. So let's first start off with why the FDIC exists in the first place, what they do, what is currently being proposed, and then where we are, and then what you need to do right now. All right, so here's the thing. Why does the FDIC exist, and what is the FDIC? It's the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. They exist because the 1933 Great Depression happened, and that happened because of a run on the banks. What is a run on a bank? That is, bank has money, right? Because you put your money there to keep it safe, and then too many people try and withdraw their money all at one time. The FDIC said, all right, look, we will insure your deposits if a bank fails, because if too many people rush there and pull the money out, the bank fails, and then everybody panics. That is what causes bank failure. So the FDIC stepped in. They were created again in 1933, and they protect these banks. Today, as of February 13th, because we don't know how long they're going to last, they insure up to $250,000. And there are ways to increase your FDIC insurance. I've done videos about those. I'll make a playlist or video and link it here. But that is what they currently do. It used to be $100,000. However, they increased it. Why did they increase it? Because of the Great Recession. So they are an important piece of the entire system, our entire financial system. We actually need them, and they're usually quite uncontroversial. They work when we need them to work, all right? So that is what they do, and that is why they are important, because we do need a place to put our cash, and it is important to have our cash in places, especially in banks, for a lot of other reasons. I'm not going to go into a whole economics rant around why is it important, because remember, banks just aren't a place for us to put money, because you don't want to have a bunch of cash in your house, because houses can burn down and you can get robbed and all that kind of stuff. But also, you need to have your stuff in a bank, because banks make loans to get houses, for businesses and all type of stuff like that. Like, that is what makes the economic system run. And if you don't trust a bank to do that, then you don't have a financial system. If you don't have a financial system, you don't have an economy, you don't have an economy, you don't have a country, so on and so forth. All right, you get the point. Okay, now, with all that being said, because I gotta have notes for something like this, what is the current administration trying to do? Their proposal isn't necessarily, currently anyway, to just scratch out the FDIC. Nobody has insurance at all. What they're looking to do right now, at least is what they say, is trying to collapse and reimagine the FDIC. So take the FDIC right now, which is independent in its own building, if you will, and they do what they do, and put it under the U.S. Treasury and kind of consolidate things. But here is the potential issue with that, and it's not just me saying this, it's people in the FDIC and others. Is that something you want to gamble with? My answer is no. And what they're trying to do and say is there could be some duplication between what people do in the Treasury and what people do in the FDIC, which is regulate banks and make sure banks are doing what they're supposed to do. They've also frozen over 200 applications or job offers. So they were hiring 200 people to inspect banks. Last I checked, that's not necessarily places where I would prefer to cut cost. Like, does the government waste money in some areas? The answer is yes, they do. But is safety, especially in banking and like health and safety, that's not the places that I want to get discounts. That's not where I want to cut costs. Like, if I'm going to a doctor, I'm not going to the discount doctor. I don't want no coupons and discounts at the doctor's office. That's not where I want to get my discount. Okay, when I'm getting breaks done, That's not, when I'm getting on the plane, I want a discount on my flight, but when y'all are checking the flight, right, that's not where I want it. I don't want a discount on the seatbelt. I want a discount on the brakes per se, right? I want the highest quality brakes possible. I want the best doctor possible. I don't want, Groupon brakes, okay? I don't want a bank that's unsafe. Why do I say that? And why do I want as many inspectors as possible and make sure they're in the best health possible when it comes to a bank? Last I checked, it ain't been 2 whole years since we had the SVB bank failure. That was the Silicon Valley Bank. March 10th, 2023. It was the biggest bank failure since when? The Great Recession. And it was the FDIC that made sure that most of y'all forgot that already. Most of y'all already forgot. Already forgot that occurred. And the only reason why there is a footnote for most people who don't do this every day is because the entity exists, and people who did not lose money is because they had the FDIC there. Now, if you start to collapse and move and force, maybe you lay off some people, which you have already started to see, and you start to merge things and you have, one person doing 5 jobs or so on and so forth, is that something that you want to gamble with an entity that is so important given the context of all the other things that are going on? We've got tariffs, we've got inflation creeping back in, and all this stuff occurring. Is that the place, of all places, is that the place you wish to gamble with everything? My answer, probably no, right? So that is what they are trying to do currently. Now, with all that being said, what we have been told, or what has been reported from the Wall Street Journal, is with all of these proposed changes, this has not been pushed through. It is not going through Congress right now, and the FDIC insurance limit right now is not supposed to change. So the insurance limit right now, again, is going to stay stable, but how it is organized, maybe the FDIC won't exist. It'll be the Treasury insurance or something of that nature, apparently. Again, these are all proposals right now, and again, these are not supposed to go through Congress. We'll see if that is even legal. If there will be some court challenge, we'll see what is going to go on there. So that is what is happening. What should you do? Because that is going to be the biggest thing that you can actually control. All right, so the first one is what should you do, and then we'll talk about the broader picture. The first thing is going to sound a bit odd for some, is you should have some cash at home. How much cash should you have at home, and why should you have it at home? Hear me out. You don't want to have your 3 to 6 months of your rent or mortgage or your life savings at home. You don't want to do that. Okay, have an amount that is comfortable. I prefer having it in a fireproof safe. You can find a lot of these at Amazon. The reason why I say that is because there are such things as natural disasters. I also just prefer having a safe for passports, birth certificates, any important documents. I believe having a safe is important just to have in your home in general, and then having whatever amount is comfortable to you, but also not an amount that you're not uncomfortable like losing. Like, I would not love losing $1,000. Okay, you never will see me happy about that. But if I were, I'm not gonna be upset about that a year from now. I'll be upset about it for a little bit. I'm not gonna be upset about it a year from now. But if $1,000, if there were a hurricane, I'm gonna need that, right? If there's a power outage, I can't get to an ATM, or there's a long line at the ATM, at least I can get to the safe, get our documents, and get out, right? It's not just the FDIC could be doing something. It's I got my $1,000 and we can get out for a natural disaster. We're in North Carolina, so that could be a thing. So you do need some money. I'm not telling you to take all your money out and put it in a mattress. I'm not telling you to do that. Okay, you will lose money to inflation. You will lose money to the stock market and things like that. So you lose money to interest and inflation. Okay, so I'm not telling you to do all of that, but you should have some. How much you do is totally up to you. But have some in a safe and have access to, which I think most people already do. But if you don't, it might be a time to at least consider a portion, a tiny, tiny portion to have just in case of emergencies, but also consider the FDIC risk in case they do change some things. Number two is more of a activation play, all right? Whether you like it or not, this is more of a politics thing. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Politics is activated by the people. We need to be loud if you prefer for the FDIC to stay in and of itself, okay? So I'm willing, if y'all are loud enough in the comments, all I need is like 3 to 5 comments, okay? I will talk to an attorney if I need to, and we will draft a letter that we can all copy and paste, and you can send it to your representative and your senator to tell them to leave the FDIC alone. If, and we know this, if we make enough noise, they will leave it alone. And all we have to do is make enough noise. We have seen how noise can change what they end up doing. The other thing you'll need to do is, and I don't do this often, subscribers know this, if you share this to the people that you know, and especially people outside of your own echo chamber, then it will really get traction. Because what we have seen is just the way that these algorithms are made, it just stays in its own bubble, and people on opposite sides of the aisle never see it. You are going to need a coalition, I guess is the term political people use, but you're going to need a coalition of people so you get noise on both sides of the aisle. Why do I say that? That's because it's everybody's money that is at risk if there is something that is at risk at the FDIC. The other reason as to why I say that is because you don't want to gamble with something like the FDIC. There is somebody that says, hey, we want to cut costs, we want to do all this stuff, yes, the U.S. in debt and all kind of stuff. I hear you, I agree, there are some areas that we should cut costs. I said that already, all right? The thing is that the area that you want to do it? And is this the type of risk that you want to make? Is this the gamble that you want to make? In your budget right now, there are some places that you could cut cost. Is it on your brake cables that you want to do that? Probably not, right? Of all the places you can cut costs, it could be, I could go from, I don't know, not eating eggs that are really expensive, or it could be on my next brake change, I could just, go to the cheapest person who's never done brakes before, or I can just do my own brakes. I don't know, because one of those is a lot more dangerous than the other. Let's make smart decisions here. The FDIC was not broken. Okay, it ain't been broke for almost 100 years now. It's been effective since 1933. It hasn't been any issues. We just saw it work for us all with SVB, and we just saw it work in the Great Recession. Leave it alone. Okay, so let me know if you want me to draft a letter that we can get out. I can do that relatively quickly if that's the case, and we can save the FDIC and save all of our money and leave it alone and keep making our interest and just mind our business, right? But let me know in the comments. But if you want to learn more about the FDIC, and if you need a refresher about how important the FDIC was and what it did just 2 years ago, then you want to check out this video right here.